Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Hein, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today our topic is Let's Get Ruffled. So I'm going to hold it here for just a moment as people come on board. It always takes a few minutes for everyone to find us. And if you, wherever you're from, if you want to post that in the comments, I do have my comments up. And I see we have quite a few people out there already. So welcome. I'll be putting the camera on in just a moment as people find their way. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's nice. Hi, Pat. Let's see, we have Lorna and Sherry and Dee and let's see, Betty, Trudy, and Naveen. And Francis is here from Florida, Judith, Rosemary. So welcome, welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put on the camera and say a proper hello. Let's see here. There we go. And hi, everybody. So today it's Let's Get Ruffled. And all morning, or actually even before then, I've been hearing that song in my head, let's get physical, let's get ruffled up, ruffled up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about using the ruffler. And I did a whole bunch of this just for fun. This is tool that I gathered up with the ruffler. It works really, really well. And I did that because, let me see if I can get this off now. There we go. But actually, this is kind of fun. I might leave it on for a little bit. Who doesn't like ruffles, So I was doing a project, and I can only show you the sleeve of my project. I can't show you much more. But on my project, I was putting these sleeves on, and I wanted the tool to be ruffled on the sleeve. So there is a way to ruffle right onto your fabric. You don't have to ruffle like this and then add it. You can put it right on. So I'm going to show you some of those tips and tricks. And I don't know how many of you have used the ruffler before. It's kind of a scary looking foot. I'm going to bring it over here so you can see. Sort of scary like this, right? It's one of those scary tools. And there's some setup to it. You could break a needle, and I'm crossing my fingers. I probably just better knock on some wood. I better rub some, I don't know. Hopefully I won't have any issues today. But, if you break a needle, you break a needle. There are ways to avoid that, and I'm going to show you those today. So, has anybody used this foot? I'm going to check over here in the comments to see if we have anybody that's used the foot before. We have another foot called the gathering foot, and I'm going to show you just a little bit what it looks like so you can see the difference. And this is great because you can adjust how many gathers you're doing. You can adjust how deep those gathers are, and also you can decide how far in from the edge, like on this, I'll get close so you can see, where I want the gather to start, way out here on the edge or in a bit. So there's all of that. And all the information is on here. Hopefully people keep these on the ruffler card. And inside, well, some on the back, but when you open them up, there's more inside. So everything I'm talking about today will be on here too, so you can see all of that as well. I save those in my drawer, and I have them alphabetized, which is a crazy thing. At one time, I worked as a file clerk, and I loved that job. And you only had to know the alphabet. So easy, fun. Anyways, it was a fun job. People I worked with were fun. Anyway, so here we have, let's see, use it a few times, tricky and takes practice. Yeah, Mary, it does take a little practice. So just knowing how to set it up and all of that. So I have my camera set up. Oh, it's hard to see it because of all the stuff going on, but my camera's right here. I have it set up pointing at the ruffler on my machine. So I'm going to go over on that side and we'll take a look at it, and I'll talk about how it works, and we'll do a little bit of ruffling. So let's get ruffled. Here we go. All right, I got to move my comments over so I can see those while I'm working, possibly. I don't know if I can. All right, here we go. So I already have it on my machine, and I'm going to show you how it goes on by using my second one here. And then this is the little gathering foot. So if you want to do soft gathers, you can use this foot. It has a little ridge in the front. And so as you use this, you set your stitch length or whatever, and on the card it tells you, and then you hold the fabric in the back and it sort of bunches up under there and makes your gather. So it's good for quick soft gathers if you're just doing a little bit of gathering where you don't need this. This has so many multi-purposes that being able to stitch, you know, your ruffle right on top of something, I think that's amazing. It saves time because you can ruffle and put on at the same time rather than two separate things. All right, so I'm going to put it on over here and then I'll talk about all the parts because I think it's important that you know how to put this foot on. It is considered a snap-on foot. Let me unsnap it. There we go. And it snaps on right here. So it says RF. That's where you snap it on. And then your needle has to fit through this hole right there. So what you do is you loosen this and it slides. This stays in one spot and the foot part, the big part, slides back and forth so that you can get your needle centered in that hole. This is where you break your needle because you don't have it centered. And once you get it on and you do that, tighten this one really good. This part here, as you're putting it on, has to go on your needle bar, this part right here. I always check before I start that that screw is tight. And as I work along, I will tighten it again to make sure it doesn't loosen up. So what you do is you put it up on your needle bar and then slide it under your foot like this. And then you can either put your foot down and it snaps on. There we go. And we're ready to go. And I'm just going to double check since I've been playing with it. My needle is going directly in the center. I don't know if I can get, I can get kind of close to that so you can see it went right through there. And that this little part gets in the way for you guys. So I will back out a little bit. So you do want to hand crank down to make sure that your needle is going through. And then this is where you would adjust. If your needle wasn't going through, you can adjust it here. So you can move this, loosen this and slide it like this. You would loosen this. This would be stationary. And if I can hold it, I don't know if I can hold it and move it at the same time. See how, there we go. See how you can move that? This would be where my thumb is, would be stationary. And then this part would slide back and forth. So you would move it. See how the hole's off to one side. You would move it till you have your foot in the right spot. Okay, so that you have the hole in the center. Now this does come in 7mm and 9. This is a 7mm one and a 9mm. But let's talk about, ooh, look at all those parts. It's like crazy, isn't it? It's got all kinds of stuff going on there. So, but it's not that scary. I'm going to tighten this back up. Now be careful if this does, I work on a laminate floor that's on top of cement. So I did break one of these last week. It landed like right on this, right here, and this part came off. So anyways, so that's what you want to put this up on your needle bar, snap it on, and you're good to go. All right. Now, the adjustments you can make right here, these adjustments here, there's 1, 6, and 12. This is a ruffle every stitch, every 6 stitches, every 12 stitches, and this is just a straight stitch in there if you're just going to stitch off. And you just lift this up and slide it onto the one you want, like so. Then over here, this part here is how deep the ruffle is going to be. So if it's all the way in like it is now, and there's some little lines here you can look at to align the screw, or if you open it way up like this, you're going to get a different size. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to make the different changes so you can see visually what's going on with that. And of course, when you're ruffling, you can change your stitch length. That will make a difference in, you know, if you're doing 6 stitches and you're using a long stitch length, then it's going to be further apart on there. Is everybody doing okay? I know someone's having a problem. you might have to try a different browser. Sometimes it's better on a different browser. So let's go ahead. Oh, the other thing is that I didn't show you is when you put your fabric in, let's get a piece of fabric. You can put your fabric in two spots. If you want the gathering to be really close to the top, you're going to put it through this part here, and it will look like this. I have to look through the camera sort of. It's going to go under this piece, and you want to put it on in an angle. Let me do it this way because this is the way you would do it. Like that. And then it's going to go under your foot like that. And it's going to get stuck right here. This is where it's going to stop, right in this little spot. Let me get it up in there. Right there. It'll hold it. This little part is if I wanted, like my tool that I'm wearing, if I wanted it to be longer, I would slide it underneath here. If I wanted to stitch closer in, further in, I would put it under there and over. Let me get it. When it's not attached to the machine, it's a little harder to work with. See, it slides. Let's get this way. It slides under here. This is where you need the third hand. There we go. And it's going to go over in here. You'll see it easier when I have it on the machine because it's hard for me to hold it all, slide it, and let you guys see what's going on at the same time. So it would pull over into that area. Let me get it. Yeah. So you all get that idea. So when you see it for real, it'll be better. All right. So the other thing is if you have some of our newer machines, like I have the CM17, on my screen, I can go to sewing applications, and I'm going to slide my camera over and go over here. And it is a little glary because I don't have my things up. But up here, I have sewing applications. And right here, I can go to sewing applications. We now have sewing applications for feet. And when I go to feet, these are all the different feet. Let me page over. There is one for the ruffler. There it is. And it says, check the needle, twin needle setting, whatever. Okay, there we go. And it shows here, when I select these, it says right up here, set to 12 on the ruffler. Remember I told you those numbers 1, 6, and 12? So we're going to do 1 first. It doesn't change anything down here. These all stay the same, but it does give you that reminder of where to set your ruffler. So I like that. I like little, sometimes I need a little extra help with that kind of thing. Let me double check over here. Okay, so let's put this piece in and we're going to do some ruffling. So I'm going to do it on just this part first. So you're going to put it under here, slide it under your foot. And you always want to pull it through there. You don't want to pull it back because this part here, the little part that makes the gather, it has little teeth. So when you pull it backwards, you may ruin your fabric. So always pull it out when you get done. So I have it set. I ruffle every stitch. I think I have it set so there'll be tiny gathers. So let's see what's going on with this. And I'm going to double check. Needle looks good. Slow it down. Well, we'll go a little faster. So you can see back here how it's gathering up really tight on that. If I move this back, this part here, this is the bite. We'll still be making them every stitch, but they won't be quite as deep as that. Let's see what happens. And I'll pull this out so you can see what it looks like at the end. So here we have, this is when I changed the bite to be less. So it's a nice soft gather. I like that. Here, they're they're tight. They're one every stitch, but they're a little deeper. See the deep, that part, it goes in there. That's what the deep part. So here, not as deep, but over here, they're deeper. Okay. So if I was going to use the part out here, I would just slide this through here like that. And maybe, maybe I have a piece of fabric that's like this that I've finished on both sides, and I want to gather more here rather than up here. I could do that. Do you remember a few years ago when those ruffly quilts came in style? The rows and rows of ruffles. I don't know what I had one. I did one time. I don't know where it went. So we're still going to stay at one ruffle every stitch, so you can see that. And I'll just finish out this piece so you can see the difference. And I don't know if you can hear the machine or not. Sometimes my earbuds will cancel out the extra noise. So maybe you can hear that noise. I don't know. Don't be worried. It does make a lot of noises. And let me go this way so we're not so close all of a sudden. So see, I can be in a bit from the edge, or I can be more on the edge like that. All right. So let's take a look at what the 6 stitches look like. If we did a gather every 6, I'm just going to lift this up, move it over. I'm going to adjust my bite so we have a little bit more bite. And I'll just do it on the edge. So I'm going to go under this first little one and pull it under my foot to the back. There we go. All right, I'm all aligned, ready to go. So this one is 1 every 6. And it's not a very deep one, so let me pull in here and make it deeper. So this is 1 every 6, so you can see it making 1 every 6. Let's move to 1 every 12, so we don't all fall asleep waiting. So there'd be 6, there we go, 12 stitches, and then a gather. So you get the hang of that, right? Let's take a look. So here we go. So you can see these are the 12s. These are the 6s over here. And I started with, these are a little deeper than the first 2. The first 2 aren't as deep. These ones are deeper. So you have options if you need just a little bit of gather. Look at that. That's not, maybe you needed just a little gather. You can do that as well. The neat part is, I do not know the cost. You would have to check with your dealer. Everyone, I'm not sure what the MSRP on the foot is, but you can double check with your dealer. All right, so say I wanted to put a ruffle. This is kind of a small fabric, but I want to ruffle this put my ruffle onto this fabric, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is get my ruffle fabric in there. So I'm just going to use the little narrow one because I just need the narrow part. There we go. Pull that back. There we are. So you always have to make sure of how much you're going to leave at the end. You do need to pull some through here, so there is a part of your ruffle that won't be usable back in there. So that's ready to go. I'm going to go to the one stitch every, and I think that bite's okay. This piece is what I want to ruffle it onto. So I'm going to just slide it under here like so. And I could have used a wider piece of fabric, but I just have these, I have a lot of these strips, and so I thought they'd make a great way to show you that the bottom fabric is not going to ruffle, just the top part is going to ruffle onto that bottom fabric. All right, let's give this a try. And if you were doing a long strip of it, you would sew your pieces together, and then I would, press my seams open like that. With the tool, I just, as I got close, I just pushed the next one in, used my tweezers to get it in there, and it just took it. So I just kind of overlapped them slightly, and they worked out just fine. I wasn't going to sew those rows together. I had rows and rows and rows of, to do. All right, so here we go. Let me see here. I think we've got it ready to go. Try to keep this one. This is where, if you needed to keep something straight, you could, you might be able to use your cloth guide on this as well. You could put that in. And here we go. We're at the end of that one. There we go. All ruffled on there. So if I had finished the top edge of this, maybe I could serge, do rolled hem on either side of this, and then I could, I could attach this onto any fabric. But see that this fabric stayed flat, this part gathered up. This is a pretty tight gather. I mean, that's a pretty tight gather right there. I mean, I could change and do a little bit less gathering on there. I could have gone in further on this piece if I wanted to, like I did on this one. Which one did I do that on? One of these I went in a little further. Okay, this one here. I went in a little further on this one. Okay. Yes, I do like watermelon. I have a ton of watermelon fabric, so yes. There we go. Yep, someone just posted about checking with your dealer on pricing. All right, so how are we doing? Does anybody need to see more ruffling? Want me to talk more about it? We're all good. And my buddy Dot is here. That always makes me so very happy. Let me see. I have some tulle here, and I'll show you what I meant about putting the tulle together. Let me see. I have two pieces here. So I'm going to stitch the first one, and I'm going to go in a little bit and show you how I added the next one in. This is where tweezers will come in handy. Let's go backwards here. Put this in here, like so. And use your tweezer over here and pull it through. There you go. So I got it all in there. And I'm just going to leave it where it's at, and I'll show you how I did my tulle when I got to the end of it. This is like watching paint dry, I'm sure. But it's fun. This guide is really nice. It's easy to keep my fabric aligned up there, my tulle. We are almost to the end. I don't suggest going really fast with this foot. I mean, you could, but there's some moving parts, and sometimes things come loose, and that's when you end up having this part wiggle, and then your needle is exposed. Let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to trim it right here because it's about another yard long. Let's cut it right here. All right. So I'm pretty close, but I'm going to go a little bit further. Here we go. We'll go a little bit further. All right. So see, there's a little bit sticking out. I'm going to take my next one and just put it under here and sort of shove it in. So it's overlapping. It's about an ½ inch overlapped right there. I'm going to align it with the top so it stays even. Let's get it over here. There we go. And then I'm just going to hit start. And then I'll stop this here. Pull that out to the back. And you can see I added my piece. Where is it? Right here. Right in there. But really you can't see it. If you were doing lots and lots of tulle for maybe a tutu or something like that. Let me see if I can zoom back. There we go. So yeah, so I have the little a little part somewhere here where the two pieces are. They are right here. So it's very easy to, to do that part of it. All right, let me put the camera on and see if we have any questions, and I can answer those. I'm going to try not to knock anything over. Oh, you want a tutu? I know, we should do that at the next show. We should make tutus. I think we should while we're working. All right, here we go. Back to this. All right, so see, I have a nice ruffles here, so I can definitely get ruffled. Let's see if there's any comments here that I need to. Yes. Oh, yep. Alice, you can definitely adjust. Let's see. Let me pull this closer so I can read it. Let's see. So Alice is asking that she's a little late. Can you adjust the ruffle to gather more? Yes, there's, you can do it one gather every 6 stitches, or one every stitch, one every 6, one every 12. Plus you can do the bite of it. And I think I have a sample here just to remind everybody. So this is one every stitch at the tightest, and then out here, there's a little bit less of a bite. So you can change both the how deep it's going and also how many you're getting. So it makes a difference on what you're working with. This one might show it a little bit better on there. But you can see I did different types of gathers on this one. And I would definitely get your foot on, get some strips of fabric, put them under there and practice and see what you like. You might like one over the other. It's just changing that little top part from 1, 6, 1, 6, or 12. And then there's a little screw. Where is it here? This is where you change whether you want it one every 6, one every 12, or one every stitch. And then the bite of it is this little guy right here. Okay, this goes up on your needle clamp. That's what makes it go, is on the needle. That's what makes it kind of move along on there. All right, let me see what else is over here. Oh, well, the other thing is, Dee says this, so much to know about a foot that I would not be able to learn by myself. But on the Ruffler card, all the information I talked about is here and on the inside. So now you have a reference. You can use the card and the video to help you with that part of it. Let's see what else is there. Oh, Wanda, you have loads of tools. Yeah, let's make lots of ruffles like this. I just love this. This is kind of fun. I'm just, I can get all ruffled up. Let's see. One Halloween, I made a Christmas tree. Oh, that's pretty cool, Sue. She did a Christmas tree costume with green tulle ruffled onto plain fabric. So I did show that. I did show how to put it on a piece of fabric. I don't know where oh, here's my sample. That was how the sleeves of my jacket are. So you can sew it onto a fabric. What a cool idea to be a Christmas tree. I love Christmas. I could do that. Let's see what else is there. Let's see. Oh, and Nancy Fiedler is here. I like to channel her. She's one of our previous educators, and her and I had a great time together. I just love working with her. Oh, Wanda wants me to sing. Yeah. So everybody today, the rest of today, you're going to be thinking about, let's get ruffled up, ruffled up. I want to get ruffled up, ruffled up. So you can thank me for that little earworm that you're going to have today with the rufflers. So get your rufflers out there. Let's get ruffled up, and it'll be a happier world that way, I'm sure. Last check of comments. Let's see, everything looks good here. And I went back a little bit. Oh, so there's a Rosemary wants me to do math. Is there a formula? What I would do is, when you're working, I would cut a piece of fabric, 12 inches long, pick the gather that you want, and then see how much space it takes, and then go from there. So it's easy to figure out once you use your 1, 6, or 12, and you have your bite and everything together. Take a piece that's one size And when it shrinks up, you'll know, oh, 12 inches makes whatever. Okay? Is that so you can all do your math that way. Let's see if there's anything else at the very bottom. All right, thanks for the earworm. Oh, Amy doesn't want me to sing. Oh, well, I'll keep my day job. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me today in the studio for a little bit of fun and silliness as we get ruffled up. I will see you again next week. Let me see, next week. Oh, no, tomorrow. I'm going to see you tomorrow. What am I saying? Tomorrow, I'll be live from the Quilter Studio in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm on the road teaching for the weekend, so I'm going to come live from the store. So pop in then. I'll see you on Thursday, 3 p.m., same bat channel, same bat time. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. And again, thank you for joining me today as we get ruffled up. I got to find if I could find the finish button, that would be good. All right, everybody. Bye for now.